Well, hello everybody. My name is Todd Bright. Welcome to All In Gestures feedback and Q&A session. This is called Redline Live, and we try to do this once a week most of the time. And we have members who submit their drawings to us for feedback. And so this is our little time to do that and just kind of go over some stuff for those of you who are joining us on YouTube, or for any of you guests or members who are watching with us live today. Did you know that I have a course, and it's a basics tutorial, and it's short and sweet, but there's also a free 1-hour session available with that. If you go on my link on YouTube here, or on my Instagram or TikTok, and that'll take you to my little shop there, and you could check out the basics tutorial. Just a little handy dandy commercial there for you. And but yeah, we just finished up our All In Gestures session for this wonderful April 18th, and so we just segued right into our feedback session, which is now. And some of these drawings are from last week's session because members have a full week to submit their drawings, and I collect those and we go over them. So for those of you who are watching with us, I see some of you in our members in our thing here. Get in the chat, like Miss Erica. Hi, Erica. Welcome back. And yeah, that's it. But for now, I'm going to start clicking buttons here, and we're going to get right into it. Let's see here. Here we go. All right. Let's go over some drawings. What up, Dory? I see you in the chat. Popping in there. Alrighty. There we go. All right, RW, thank you for submitting your work this week. Let's see, RW had a specific question, and let's see, forgive me, but I'm gonna look at it real quick here. Oh, nuts. Hang on, folks. This is me not being quite prepared, so hang on a second. I had it with me, but I didn't. I just mentioned this in our workshop that I was really loving this specific questions that the for those of you who are members and you submit and you have, sorry, this is live TV. Welcome to the crazy. The specific questions may be attached to a drawing. This is not required, obviously, but I thought it was really cool that we got a specific question. And it says, please see my attached drawings, only uploading seated poses for review. Well, let's try and focus more on capturing subtle performance. One in particular, let's see, it originates, but I tried multiple times combined. All right. The idea is, here, let's get to that drawing. So we're already at that drawing. So she was trying different attitudes, which I love here with these 3 drawings. And she says the idea was that she's listening to a mixtape from her boyfriend and slowly becomes more excited before rising and starting to dance. So this is really cool. She was thinking about a progression in the story and trying to push that. And yeah, I like that. The first drawing there on the right, on the far left there, looks like number 1. And then she starts getting more into it, the music. This is our model wearing headphones, by the way. And then she leans back and gets really into it. I like that idea. And what's cool is she's like, well, I was, wanting any input about, executing on that idea. And I love the pulling of the hair idea that you did. I don't know. I think some of this is choices. Ooh, let's see here. There we go. Some of these things are just decisions to make, RW, as far as performance goes. And just to noodle on it. It's like if I was sitting here thinking, like you said, like progression, right? And then like listening, like, oh yeah, that's that song, and then she kind of gets like, oh, she's thinking about her boyfriend, which I love your idea, by the way. And so she's just thinking about it. Right there, she almost looks like she's talking on the phone, which is more modern. And for those of you last week who didn't know, the theme was called Totally 80s. And this is so the phones didn't exist in the 80s, the cell phones, right? But I almost would rather, and this is, again, this is just ideas, right? I want to lift her up, but I don't mind the leaning back thing that you have. She's like reclining. That's pretty cool. I'm wondering if I look away almost like she's, I'll still have her eyes closed like you, but maybe she's like dreaming in the clouds, kind of a thing, looking up. But engaging with the phone like that, the Walkman, it almost does read as like a phone, like she's looking at the Walkman. Hey, but her eyes are closed. So I wonder if we can get a little bit more, But I do love your idea of the twirling hair. That's very cool. Dory says, oh, phones did exist in the 80s, but they're the sides of the transistor radio. Yes, they are, or they were. My dad had one. Thing was huge. And you couldn't put it like underneath your, they're so big you couldn't even put them under here. I tried. I was like, it would just fall right down. So yeah, almost like she's looking away. I think I could have done it even more like looking up. And I wondered too, like, if she's kind of drifting off here. That way the phone, or the phone, I can't, the Walkman, maybe it's kind of dripping off to the side, like hanging down, like she's push that even more. And then you can have the wires attached to it for the headphones, you know. Actually, it goes in the middle and then one wire. Sorry, making a mess here with wires, but yeah, just trying to think. Okay, body language. I'll keep your shoulder up that you have there. And I'm wondering if we could do something a little bit more fun and feminine with her legs. There she looks a little businessy, and it's not bad or something. It sounds like a wrong choice, you know, but I'm wondering, how can we push that? Like maybe her legs are crossed a little bit. Let's see here. And instead of out, you know, like kind of like kicking, maybe they're wrapped together tight, you know, like. Maybe even pulled in closer. So all that to say, these are the, you know, just like in our workshop, you know, constantly trying to think of, okay, how do we push this pose, blah, blah, blah. Like, what does that mean, pushing pose, you know? And really, when you practice pushing poses, you're practicing pushing ideas. That's what you're really doing, okay? And this is one of the great fruits, I think, of doing our workshop, or if you're going to get out there and do any other workshop, it's a benefit. You know, it's like you're practicing pushing idea, and that's really what it's about as an artist. You know, making a mess here with these legs, but all that to say, this one's crossing over. Maybe it's twirling back. Maybe that foot shows up in the back here. You know, all that to say, you could probably push that even more, but we'll move on. Okay. Again, just choices. I'm not saying what you did I dislike. You know, I think you had some really great things there with the hair. Probably pull that even more, you know, straighten mine. But all that to say, like, get the whole attitude, the whole body working for you. You know, what would her legs be doing if she's really dreaming, you know, about her man? All right, let's move on. Let's move on here. But very good. I love the thought process. I love the question. Put that over to the side there. Let's see. There's that one. That one. This one I loved. I love the idea behind it. I think we could do something to spice it up, though. Let's see here. I'm gonna make this a little larger. Larger still. There you go. Let's see. Bear with me 1 second here. Okay. I love her holding her music up like that, her Walkman. That's very fun. I love her kicking idea there. Sorry, I'm doing a text something here. And blowing her bubble. I totally get it. Let's see here. Looks like she's doing her thing. I love your idea of playing the music. I'm wondering if there's too many straights here. I know that's a chord on the left, this line. That's a chord, so I get that. I wonder if there's something we could do. Again, maybe she's doing another dreamy thing about music, or she's just rocking out and just chilling. You know, I love your bubble blowing. That's funny. And the hair spread around. Very cool. I'm wondering if we could maybe bend that arm a little bit. I think too, like giving her a little bit of volume here and shape and stuff. And maybe she's just rocking her out and her feet are up. But I'm wondering if we could do something. What could we do those legs? Because what's fun about last week's theme, and this week's was Miami Vice, right? Very drama and serious, you know. And last week was just fun, you know, and like loose and uh, that's a belt. What can we do with those legs? Let's see here. So I'm in deep thought today. Normally I like to cruise a little faster, but let's see here. Let's see. Maybe her legs are crossed. Sorry, I got a light here from our workshop. I gotta get out of the way. Get out of the way, light. There we go. Let's see. How can we do that? Maybe the legs are crisscrossing a little bit. Just trying to think of like a subtle, feminine gesture. Like toes are pointed. She's just kind of dreaming or just chilling with music. Yeah. And I love, you're already doing this, but just getting into the head of the character a little bit. And you're already doing it, so obviously with the last drawing we just talked about, but I don't know how we'd be holding this kind of casually, but and with this arm, I'm just trying to do something to break up the parallels that were happening. Maybe this arm's out instead of strapped against her body. I was trying to think somewhere along the line of deliberating the action of this pose, I was trying to think relaxation. Like things are spread out, you know, her legs are up in the air, you know, for some reason laying down like that. Maybe this other arm is out like that and giving us relaxation. And then, you know, just putting your headphones on like you had them. And obviously the hair is you know, against the ground. So yeah, all that to say, just messing around with some story and attitude. Okay? Yeah. I'm just riffing off your idea. So very cool. And your initial idea was where it's at, you know, like listening to music, relaxing. I love it. Alrighty. Moving on. RW, really nice. Thank you for submitting your work. Very nice. Miss Erica, you've been waiting so patiently. Very fun. I'm gonna make this a little shorter, smaller. I love this drawing. I think it's really fun. Let's see. Oh, hang on, guys. I think I hit the wrong button here. There we go. I think this is a lot of fun. I put this in our gallery today for your sketch sketches of the week last week. Yeah, this is when our model was curling her hair, kind of getting ready to go out. And I love everything what you did. Here's our model. So I found that pose. Very nice. Getting ready to go to the mall. And let's see. I love what you did. You turned her arm a little bit to open up that arm that's holding the curling iron, or the curling iron. And let's see here. What I like about what Jennifer did was she was holding that curling iron up. At least I think that's the pose you did, right? Is that the right one? Sorry, Erica. Let's see. Welcome to live TV. This is raw and unedited. Oh, there it is. This is the right one. Sorry, my bad. That's the pose. Very nice. The only thing I would do, because I like the vibe of the thing, but since you submitted it, I'm gonna pickety. I might lift this up and away just a little bit from the hair. Just to clear that silhouette a little bit, okay? Let's see, there's the hand. Actually, I would do even more. Let me do that again. I want to think of her head too, so I like where your head is at with your bubble and all that. Really fun. But I might lift this a little higher. Let's see. Yeah. I might lift that a little bit higher. And her hair is being curled. Again, I don't have experience doing that, but maybe you do. But it looks like she's holding, in the drawing anyway, and even with the model drawing, she's supposed to be holding the iron. I'm not sure. Or is she pinching the hair? She goes, thanks, I was wondering how to clear the silhouette without making arms too long. Yeah, just lifting up that shoulder, and a way to do that is just drawing with anatomy in your mind. It's like, okay, I want to keep my head, or the neck where that goes, and then the pit right there, the clavicle aiming up, and then that deltoid's going to be up there, and then the bicep, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden you kind of get like this nice framing of the head here when you look at this box here, Anyway, so all that to say, let's see. I think I could have pushed that even more so. But she's holding the thing, angling down. I almost want to bring this hand, even though Jennifer has it close to her head, maybe I'll bring it out just a little bit. Maybe even a little bit more. Is she pinching hair, maybe? Like pulling the hair. So each hand has its own careful job here. And then all of a sudden, maybe that shoulder's a little bit dropped. Sorry, I'm kind of working this out as I go here too, Erica. I'm gonna fix that because I just discovered something that's kind of fun, because you have that bubble blowing gag right? Let's draw that circle there. All of a sudden, when I started fixing the silhouette of the arms, this is where the happy accidents come in, you know. But when you're really thinking clear silhouette, is my drawing readable? Is this pose readable for my project, right? All of a sudden, things become really clear and obvious, and like, ooh, I have a little framing, a little staging for my bubble gag, you know, which adds so much attitude to the moment, you know. And then obviously all your cool bracelets and all the fun stuff you put in your drawing, which is great. So does that make sense? I don't need to do the whole drawing here, but I feel like we just discovered this little stage here. Okay, I'm going to turn your drawing off real quick, and I'm going to draw in blue just to highlight it one more time. But look at this wonderful, sorry, here we go. This little wonderful box here. This negative space that can be so powerful. Just created a nice little window to stage your bubble, right? So yeah, anyway, it's a detailed thing, but it's just one of those things. Like, it's like, oh, cool, silhouette, you know? But yeah, that's it. Beautiful. I love the drawing, you know? But tweak, tweak, tweak. There you go. All right, let's move on here. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. Put that over there. Okay, here we go. And you had another one. This one's so funny. That was a fun gag there. Let me move this over here. This is fun, just taking some time on these. Okay, let's go. Okay, yeah, really funny poses last week. Really funny. Sorry, I'm trying to find the pose. There we go. Okay, here she is. Here's our pose of Jennifer getting ready. She's using hairspray, which is a iconic thing for the 80s, right? Let's see. I could do this myself a little bit. You lose track of balance. So let's see here. Again, I think there's a similar note here to the last drawing as far as clearing the staging, so I won't belabor it. It's those arms. And these are early decisions right when we start a pose, right? Let's see here. Again, balance stuff wise, just little thing. It can happen to anybody. It happens to me sometimes. I did it today, and I was like, oh, I just drew my guy like leaning over. I didn't want to do that, so I'm gonna have him leaning against a car. So that's what was going on there for me. Throwing it out there. I think the lean is right with the body that you have, right? The hips are there, just like Jennifer has, but the foot to head relationship is a little off as far as just like a standing pose. So you want to just make sure those feet, and it's just a good gut check, just to even look at a live pose like that, just to make sure that the balance is working, okay? And that way the model's not going to tip over, okay? So the feet and the legs are really important together. See, I like this drawing better. All right, so it's going to work with that. All right, moving on. So hairspray wise, it's the same idea. I'm going to lift this up. And she has this huge can. Let's see, how can she hold that better? I think it's too high. I don't like what I did at all. Let's see. Yeah. Here's the gag. So I'm gonna get her head in there. And maybe she's like holding her breath or something, right? And then you're gonna get this spray happening, right? Like, and then so I want to find that angle, and then I can adjust my arms and my head, my body. To fit that. Let's see here. I don't know, maybe her hair's blowing back. And to your question earlier, it's like, well, now the arms are too long. So move the arm, just bend it more one way or the other. So it's not too long. I almost want to mess around with the size of a can and how she's holding that, like if it's a too big of a can, kind of a moment. Let's see here. Yeah, so balance, and I don't like what I did with the can, but moving that away from her a little bit more, clearing that path. So that's all. I would mess with it even more, but I think you get the idea. But yeah, that's all. More cool silhouette stuff, and we have one more by Mr. Dory. Thank you, Erica, again for submitting. Awesome, awesome. I know you had fun at Animation Y'all last week. Very cool. Dory, I just saw your stuff. Thank you for submitting that under the wire there. Very good. Let's see here. Just a proportion thing, real quick. I don't know if she's walking and walkie-talkie. No. What do you call that? Walkman? Or not, but the balance looks a little off. She might actually fall backwards. Oof. So I'm just gonna bring that foot back just to accommodate, because I like that back lean you did, Dory. All right, here we go. Sorry, I'm not talking much right now. I'm just kind of doodling. And just keeping your head angle, doing some of the fun stuff you did there. But just to keep your angle there, that back, that arch, or arc, whatever, I'm pushing that back leg back. Okay? Just to catch her so she doesn't fall down. Cool? And I went ahead and maybe clarified a little bit of your angles with the arms. I just kind of pushed that a little bit more. I dipped down. It's always good find little places to nudge, And I've noticed you've been pushing your poses more, and it's really cool. So keep it up, yes, sir. And let's see here. I don't have the pose of Jennifer right in front of me. Okay, yeah, she's holding the Walkman in your drawing, which is cool. Um, I won't do it now, but like it's like you're holding the Walkman with this hand. I was thinking she was doing this. I wasn't thinking right away, but like she was just kind of holding the, um, listening to the headphones, kind of like pressing them in, and she's walking and dancing, or whatever. So I was trying to think of a feminine way to do that, instead of like maybe a man way, like rah, like boom, like this, but like maybe just kind of like touching, you know, with the fingertips. That might give some extra attitude. And when you think about those things, and again, I'm kind of babbling here a little bit, but whatever. We're together, right? Let's do this. But that kind of attitude might change your entire arm here. It might change your entire approach to that part of the body, where it's just like, um, if she was like this, like she's trying to hear something, right? Everything would be like down. But if she's just enjoying the moment and everything's light and fun and happy, she might do this, and that would bring everything up and give you a nice break in the wrist there. So anyway, all that to say, and since she is holding her Walkman, I might consider not holding that up to her head, maybe bringing that down away from her head. Okay, but just a thought. Okay, and we'll do one more from Dory, then we'll wrap it up. Okay. I was gonna say, dude, nice one here. I think we could mess with those proportions and attitudes and things. We could tweak and adjust, but I'm gonna leave it. But what I like about it is just how much rhythm and how loose you were here, and there's a really nice feeling to the line work. And so I'm not gonna mess with it and tweak and hey, wait, wait, I just wanted to say I really like this drawing. So really well done. There it is. And this last one, um, her dancing. Let's see here. What am I doing? I love that you have some dance lyrics in there. Very fun. Let's see here. I might. I think it's another balance thing to the moment. I tell you what, Jennifer's done another character for us a while back, and it was like this. I think related to Clueless, the movie, and she had some really fun dance move things. Really, really fun. And all that to say, so I like the loose thing you have going on here. I'm wondering if we can just tweak her balance a little bit, but I don't want to stiffen it up. Let's see here. I might have to take the pose myself here. She's like, what? Like, yeah, like leaning that, maybe pushing that hip out. And I'm gonna have to bring that, just like we talked about Erica's uh, head and foot relationship. Just bring that foot under the head, and while I'm at it, I'm just kind of messing around with, I'm kind of bringing that head angle over more. Um, One thing that dynamic up a drawing is those opposite relationships, right? It's like this foot is kind of going this way to be balanced, so I'm going to cock the head that way just to give it some opposite forces. And just to try it, I might point her toes. I like the leg warmers, very, very 80s, very fun, dude. see here. And again, I'm just thinking opposites. Maybe I'll bring that arm up instead of them being together. Not that this is wrong, but I'm just trying to, and you did do different things with the arms. They're not too even, which is nice. But I might, do some, you know, just to mix it up a little bit. But yeah, that's all. Balance. Moving on. All right. Well, thank you guys. I think that's it. Who's here in the chat with us? RW, thanks for coming in. Dory, I know you're here. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, really great work, everybody. And yeah, submit your stuff from this week, which was Miami Vice. And we'll see you next week here at Redline Live doing our thing, getting feedback. And yeah, great job to everybody. And I love that you guys are encouraging each other in the chat. Very good. All right. But yeah, post more stuff, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for participating. And that's all I got to say. I'm trying to think if there's something else, but I don't think so. We're good. Have a great week. Thanks for the questions and work. All right, guys.